Welcome to Save As Ability, a podcast to educate and inform you about disability employment issues. My name is David D'Arcangelo, and I'm your disability policy expert. Focus on what you can do. That's the topic of today's episode of Save As Ability. Great to be back with you, David D'Arcangelo, another episode here. So today we're talking about how to focus on can do. And it's all about empowering self-reliance, access to opportunities, and dignity. Okay, really for people with disabilities. That's what we're talking about here today. So we're getting right into it. I would say, oftentimes people with disabilities, because of the nature of the disability, and understandably so, you can get distracted, or you can start spending a lot of time on things you can't do. And I understand that as a person with a disability, because you're constantly in problem solving mode. But what I encourage people to do, and I'm asking you all to do, is instead of spending time on those things that you can't do, really make a conscious effort to spend time and energy on things that you can do. You can't have a disability without first having ability. So really, that's what we're talking about here, focusing on ability and what you can do and those abilities that you can do. So the emphasis here is self-reliance that will lead to access to opportunities, promotes dignity and self-determination, which are all good things for our human condition, for everybody, not just people with disabilities, okay? Ultimately, that leads to freedom, and that's what we want here in America. All Americans want that, whether you're a person with a disability or a person without disability. All right, so we're diving in here. I've got some strategies that I want to share with you. And really, again, it's about asking you to shift perspectives away from things you can't do. Let's take that out of your vocabulary and really try to focus in on things you can do. And this will help unlock possibilities and opportunities for people with disabilities, your families, and everybody else involved with people with disabilities, right? So let's start with some real world data here, though. Let's not just be, thinking everything's hunky dory, because there are real challenges and real limitations. As a person with a disability, as the father of a daughter of a person with a disability, both my brothers, I understand the challenges and difficulties that there are. Okay. So I'm not saying just, completely disregard all that. No, because that can be who you are, but it's using those challenges to turn them into opportunities. All right. So, because the data is clear that, the landscape, and this is right from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, just looked it up before we started here, we're around 23% of all working age people with disabilities in the labor force. That means there's about 67% or higher of working age people with disabilities not in the labor force, and that's an issue. Typically the unemployment rate for people with disabilities is double that of people without disabilities. Equally concerning is the poverty rate, which is around 20 or 25% of all people with disabilities live at or below the poverty line. And this is significantly lower than people without disabilities. So there's a lot of work to do. So you say, well, but Dave, focus on positive things. Well, that's what we're trying to do here. We know on the macro scale, we know on the aggregate level that there are challenges there. All the more reason for you as an individual to focus on what you can do and do what you can do to buck those statistics, to go the opposite way on those trends. And there's good news. The good news is that you have ability. And the whole pool of people with disabilities has ability. Okay. Like, again, if there's 10 things that an employer needs, okay, maybe you can't do one of them because of your disability, or maybe there's a way to carve that out, or maybe there's a way to craft that job in a way to be able to take that out and put something in that you actually can do. All right. And that's what we're asking businesses to consider. That's what we're asking policymakers to consider, is that can-do attitude of, well, let's not exclude people, let's bring people in. That's what we're all about here at Save As Ability. That's what the business community is about, by the way, because they want to be able to tap into that pool of talented workers. Many of them, though, just don't know how to do it. So we're working to try to get them to show them how to do it. So simply put, this can-do attitude is really saying that you have a commitment to the possibilities of positive things that you can do. And it's a commitment to focus on the attributes that are talents in the workplace or talents in the community, whatever the case may be, that are good things that can add for the person, for the employer, for the community, for society in general. Okay. So there's some core principles here. Self-reliance being the first among them. Okay. Are there community groups that can help you? Are there government programs that can help you? Are there church communities or, faith communities that can help you? Yes, yes, yes. But do you rely upon that exclusively? No, you can't. You've got to rely upon yourself. Are those other things pieces to the puzzle? Yeah, probably. And there's roles there, and we've discussed that on many episodes. But at the end of the day, you've got to be able to rely upon yourself. And if you're talking about your abilities and not talking about what you can't do, then others will tend to do that as well. So the first thing I would ask you to consider and adopt is self-reliance mindset. Okay. Next is not focusing on the limitations and on the challenges as much as the access to opportunities. That's what you're asking for here. You're asking an employer, you're asking a nonprofit, you're asking a program, whatever the case may be, to provide you access to opportunities. Then it's up to you. And back to self-reliance, what we were just talking about, if you can rely upon yourself and make good on your talents and abilities and skills, well, now you have that access to opportunity. Now you can make the most of that opportunity. Okay. And this is really kind of wrapped up by the third thing that I would say, and that's the dignity of life. That's what I believe in. I believe that, God created all of us with this dignity of life that we have here. And America has provided us the freedoms to be able to pursue that. So it's up to us then as self-reliant individuals to get access to opportunities that will improve our human condition. And that to me is the dignity of somebody's life. That's, the respect, that's being included, that's meaningful participation. And that's available for all people with and without disabilities. Can it be more challenging for people with disabilities? Yes, it can. We know that. We're working to problem solve for that. That's the whole reason of this episode. And so ultimately, if these things are in place, the self-reliance and all the way through to the dignity that you'll feel in having made good on your abilities, really, then what is that? That's self-determination. Okay. That is a core tenet since the founding of America, and all the way, it's a big principle for the disability community too, is self-determination, independence and self-determination, right? So by making good on all these other things, you're becoming more independent and self-determined, which is a good thing. So again, that self-reliance is going to put you on the path to prosperity. And you know what we say about that you've got to be able to persevere there. It's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. It would have been done by now. There is a reason why these are long-standing challenges for America. Okay. This is not, this goes above political party. This goes above socioeconomic status or other demographics. Okay. But again, the core part of self-reliance is having this agency for each individual, being self-reliant, self-determined. Okay. And a big part of that is economic empowerment. And that's why we're pushing employment so much here at Save Visibility and talking about it so much. So whether it's a wheelchair user overcoming transportation barriers to get to work, or a person with visual impairments mastering specialized software like JAWS or Zoom Text or whatever, aligning these skill sets will provide access to opportunities and dramatically improve employment rates for people with disabilities. Okay. This then leads to more financial freedom. This leads to more personal agency and dignity and self-determination. Okay. So getting access to these opportunities is key. And there's some common denominators there. Let's talk about a few of them. Well, we know that education is important for everybody. And it, again, doesn't matter whatever demographic category you fit in, political persuasion, none of that matters. Everybody agrees. There's a consensus here that you need education, you need training. Once you get those, now you have the tools you need to be able to make good and to get that access to opportunity. So that's kind of a bedrock thing. But the way we've done it has been a little complicated. We're now starting to envision ways to be able to have more access to that. And the internet and YouTube is a great example. How many videos right now are just a few clicks away from you learning? And if you don't like that one, you can go to another one. You can compare and you can get, a consensus of thought. And a lot of it is free and a lot of it is available to you to make your own decisions there. That's a good thing, I think. Technology has increased and really leveled the playing field for a lot of the prevalence types of people with disabilities. And so, it's really embracing that, getting educated and trained on those technologies. Again, that'll make you more independent, self-determined, help build tools. And, those are really sellable traits to employers or, starting your own business, whatever the case may be. But again, having your own agency there. So that's another theme. All right, as we begin to conclude here, really what we're talking about is an attitude shift. I'm asking you all, if you're a person with a disability or however you're affiliated with disabilities, if it's somebody in your family or friends, or you just care about the issue for society, whatever the case may be, these are the things we're talking about. Independence, self-determination, access to opportunities. These are all good things that all Americans can agree. Okay. Now it sounds easy. It sounds obvious, but then go do it. Then go do it when you have these very real challenges and limitations that your disability can bring. Okay. But you can do it. And these people with disabilities can do it. It's all about independence, self-determination, setting goals, setting up a support system, both for yourself, self-reliant, but also being interdependent with others as well. Okay. So yeah, it's independence, but it's also interdependence. All right. This will help build confidence. There's other things coming. The world has been changing quickly here. So, policy wise, a lot of these programs now are going to get modernized. That's going to help people with disabilities. A lot of organizations now are using technology as a force multiplier. That helps. It provides more opportunities. There's workforce development initiatives that have been happening. So steadily, the employment rate for people with disabilities has been improving. The labor participation rate, although not as much as we like, has been getting a little bit better. There's still a chasm, though, but don't worry about those macroeconomic trends. Self-reliance on yourself to market your skills and abilities, focusing on what you can do, not what you can't do. It can be difficult, believe me, I know, but you can do it. The path to prosperity is paved by perseverance. Focus on what you can do. I understand. You've got to spend some time problem solving for things you can't do. I know that. Okay. But keep it a problem solving exercise and only spend a certain amount of time on that and really try to focus as much time and devote as much as you can to things you can do and the abilities that you do have. All right. So as we wrap up here, just want to thank you for joining me for this episode. Please help us continue to grow the channel and keep great content flowing for you. If you could like, subscribe, share, comment, we'd appreciate it. It's David Darkangelo. I'm fired up as usual. You can do it. Focus on what you can do, not what you can't. Another episode of Save as Ability, David Darkangelo, and I hope you have a great day.
For more information about disability employment issues, please visit our website, disabilityemploymentsolutions.com. The Save as Ability podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our YouTube channel at Disability Policy Expert, or wherever you stream your podcasts. Subscribe, stream, rate, and review our shows. Your ratings and reviews help our show reach new audiences. Produced by Pod Pro Entertainment. Save As Ability lives within a network of podcasts located at podproentertainment.com. #The New Radio. Again, my name is David Darkangelo, and I'm your disability policy expert. Until next time, thank you. I hope you have a great day.